Chapter 4701. Fuck you, don't you know how to talk? Who would have thought that his joke would infuriate Wei Dong? Han Su saw that the atmosphere wasn't right and quickly went up to persuade them. Okay, let's not stand here. Let's go play games. After all, the boys weren't as gossipy as the girls. They saw Qin Chu and Huamin at Westgate and left it as it was. Only Wei Dong was a little upset. Obviously he didn't have a good time playing games that day. Qin Chu didn't drive as ostentatiously as he did and didn't use a chauffeur. He just hailed a taxi and left with Huamin. When asked where they were going, he was like a mute. Young man, where are you going? 7 Mile River. The chauffeur was stunned. It takes an hour to get a taxi there. The fare is about 150 yuan. Drive. Qin Chu was a man of few words. Perhaps since he was young, the chauffeur knew that 7 Mile River was very far away. He immediately reminded the children that it was 150 yuan for a one-way trip and 150 yuan for a return trip. It was 300 yuan for a taxi. This was the entrance of a high school and he was worried that the children wouldn't have that much money. Qin Chu took out his wallet and threw 300 yuan to the chauffeur. After the chauffeur took the money, he immediately shut up and smiled like a flower. Why are you going to 7 Mile River? To catch fish. What's wrong with you? It's so late and it's almost dark. You're going to 7 Mile River to catch fish. I'll be back by tonight. Don't worry, Qin Chu said. That's ridiculous. No, I want to get out. Chauffeur, stop. Chauffeur, don't stop. Chauffeur, stop. Chauffeur, don't stop. Chauffeur, if you don't stop, I'm going to jump out. Huamin leaned over and pretended to open the car door. Don't listen to my girlfriend. She doesn't dare to jump. Huamin. The chauffeur was about to burst out laughing when he heard the conversation between the two children. He thought to himself that children nowadays matured at a young age. They were dating at such a young age. In the end, he couldn't persuade Qin Chu and the two of them arrived at 7 Mile River. Kilihi was a village near Sea City. The name of the village was Kilihi. There was a river there that flowed down from the Wanning Mountain not far away. The spring water was very clean and the river water was also very clear. In those years, tourism development was not so comprehensive, so that place was still very simple. After Qin Chu got out of the car, he took Huamin to a farmhouse by the river. At this time, the sun was already setting in the west. It was 6:30 and the sky was about to turn dark. It's so dark and you want to catch fish? Are you crazy? Night fishing, got it? Qin Chu glanced at Huamin indifferently and took the fishing rod from an auntie at the farmhouse. Then the two of them went to the river. Huamin thought that this rich kid was just trying to show off and have fun. Unexpectedly, Qin Chu's fishing skills were very good. In less than 15 minutes he caught a big fish. Auntie Wang, let's cook the fish the same way. Little President Qin. The woman called Auntie Wang was very enthusiastic. She took the fish that Qin Chu caught and walked in. Qin Chu stood up and stretched. Do you like to eat stars? Huamin was stunned. Before she could say anything, Qin Chu pulled her arm and led her to the back of the farmhouse. It was a desolate area with weeds. She looked in the direction of the dim light of the farmhouse. Huamin was pleasantly surprised to find that there were many stars. These things were black, small, and looked like wild grapes. They melted in her mouth and were very sweet. The northerners called them stars, Yiyu and Tiantian. It was said that in the south it was called black nightshade fruit and in some areas it was called shanji date. This was one of Huamin's favorite things. When she was young, she often ate it at her grandmother's house in the countryside. After her grandparents passed away, she never went back and never ate it again. Let's go, I'll take you to pick them. Seeing that Huamin was stunned and her eyes were a little wet, Qin Chu took her hand and led her into the weeds. Chapter 4702. Huamin naturally held Qin Chu's warm hand. They walked deeper into the weeds. Since they didn't bring any utensils with them, there was nowhere to put the fruits. Huamin looked around but couldn't find anything suitable. Just then Qin Chu pulled up his black short-sleeved shirt. Put it here. Huamin glanced at Qin Chu's expensive short-sleeved shirt and swallowed her saliva. There's no need. This piece of yuyu isn't worth as much as your short-sleeved shirt. Seeing that she wasn't willing to put it down, Qin Chu ignored her and put the fruits he plucked on his shirt. The juice of the fruit was purplish-black and it soaked Qin Chu's short-sleeved shirt. Huamin's heart ached when she saw this. However, Qin Chu didn't seem to care. The two of them plucked the fruits for about 15 minutes. Then they got tired and sat down at the edge of the weeds. The two of them didn't wash up and started eating. Huamin couldn't wait to reach out for the fruit. However, Chu had already picked up one and put it in front of her mouth. It was his first time feeding her and his actions were so natural. There was no hesitation or shyness. Huamin opened her mouth and bit into the fruit. That familiar taste began to spread between her teeth. It was a long-lost feeling, just like when Grandma and Grandpa were still alive. Perhaps he was afraid that Huamin would be sad, so Chu took the initiative to ask her. "There's something I don't quite understand." "What is it?" Huamin pretended to be indifferent as she naturally grabbed a handful of fruits from Chu's shirt. She even dyed her hands purple. "How many algorithms do you know for that math problem?" 12. Huamin didn't hide it. "That's even stranger. If you know 12 algorithms, why did you choose the most difficult one? Why didn't you choose the simple and rough one?" Chu tilted his head to look at her delicate and pretty face. There was silence for 5 seconds. Huamin popped a purple fruit into his mouth and said while chewing, "Because if I don't understand it, teacher, students, and you may never see this godly algorithm in your lifetime." Chu was speechless. When Huamin said this, he was full of confidence. He did find it interesting. Moreover, she had invented the algorithm herself. No matter how complicated the process was, the method was right and so was the answer. If Huamin didn't use it, perhaps no one in the entire school or even the entire city would use such a brain-burning method to solve the problem. These were obviously arrogant words, but they came out of Huamin's mouth so calmly. Chu was also silent for 5 seconds. Then she asked, "Do you know what I like most about you?" Huamin was speechless. Looking at Huamin's puzzled face, Chu continued, "I like the way you look when you're arrogant. It's especially charming." Huamin was speechless. It was strange. Over the years, Chu had seen countless arrogant people. He himself was also a godly arrogant person. However, he could tolerate Huamin's arrogance and even admired it. It was as if it was destined. After hearing Chu's words, Huamin laughed heartily. "Huh. Why don't you just say that I'm arrogant?" "If you want to say that, fine," Chu said seriously. Huamin immediately grabbed a handful of wild fruits and scattered them all on Chu's face. Instantly, a few black spots appeared on his handsome face. It was very funny. Then Huamin mischievously ran away, afraid that Chu would wait for an opportunity to take revenge. However, he didn't. He stood up elegantly and then out of nowhere, a white handkerchief appeared and wiped his face. "The fish should be ready. Let's go." Chapter 4703. Hearing Chu's words, Huamin was indeed a little hungry. His stomach rumbled. Huamin followed Chu into the simple wooden house. As expected, there were already 2 dishes on the square wooden table. One was a big bowl of fish and the other was stir-fried wild vegetables. Then Auntie Wang brought in 2 bowls of fragrant rice. "President Qin, the fish just came out of the pot. It's very hot. You and your friend should be careful." Chu nodded and sat across from Huamin. "This fish can only be eaten here. It's Auntie Wang's specialty," Chu said as he picked up a big piece of white fish and placed it in Huamin's bowl. Hearing Chu's praise, Auntie Wang smiled innocently. "My ancestor was a chef who cooked for a high-ranking official in the Qing dynasty. That official liked to eat fish, so my ancestor changed his cooking method. Just for fish alone, our Wang family knows 107 recipes." 107. Huamian was a bit surprised, finding it shocking. Maybe it was because he hadn't eaten anything good before. Usually he only ate steamed, boiled, braised, boiled, spicy, stewed and sweet and sour. Among the 100 or so recipes, this is the best. It's a secret recipe of our Wang family. Young lady, try it. Hearing her words, Huamin was also very interested. He picked up the fish, put it in his mouth and tasted it. Sure enough, the fish was smooth and tender. Not only was it fragrant, but after swallowing, there was a slightly spicy taste in his mouth. It was different from all the fish he had eaten before. It was mainly fresh. "Is it good?" Chu asked her. "Yeah, it's super good." Huamin smiled. Chu didn't say anything. He lowered his head and scooped a bowl of fish soup for Huamin. "It's a little spicy. Drink it slowly." "Okay, I won't stand on ceremony. I'll definitely eat more. You don't have to be so busy. Eat your own food." After Huamin finished speaking, he picked up the bowl of rice and really didn't hold back. After all, since they were already here, they had to eat their fill. Huamin didn't have the bashfulness that girls usually had. In her eyes, eating and sleeping well was the way to go. This bowl of piping hot fresh fish, paired with the specialty wild vegetables, made Huamian feel a sense of happiness that she hadn't felt in a long time. In fact, she ate well at home and her mother never mistreated her and Jishin. His mother's culinary skills were excellent, especially when it came to handmade dumplings. However, the fish still aroused Huamin's appetite. Soon, the small bowl of rice was emptied. "Auntie Wong, I want another bowl." "Let me help you." "No need, I'll go by myself." Huamin stood up with a smile, not treating himself as an outsider. "It's in the pot in the kitchen." Auntie Wong saw that the little girl was quite generous and smiled. Huamin walked to the kitchen door with the bowl of rice in her hand. Suddenly, she remembered something. She turned around and asked Chin Chu, "Do you want some? I'll bring you some." Chin Chu didn't seem to understand what Huamin meant and didn't know how to answer for a moment. Seeing that he didn't say anything, Huamin turned around and went in. She filled her bowl to the brim. Then she filled half of the rice and put it on top of the bowl as if it would fall off at any moment. She carefully returned to the table. Before Chin Chu could say anything, she used her chopsticks and scooped the extra rice into Chin Chu's bowl. This action instantly froze Chin Chu. This was because he had never eaten like this in the past 10 years or so. The Chin family was very disciplined when it came to eating. Everyone ate their own food. Chin Chu's father had always been thrifty, so no one left any food behind. However, this was the first time that he had scooped food from someone else's bowl into his own bowl. He was a clean freak. But he didn't stop Huamin in time. Chapter 4704. He looked at Chin Chu staring at his rice in a daze. Huamin didn't understand the situation and thought that Chin Chu was touched. She even added happily, "You're welcome, Chin Chu." They had a good meal. Huamin hadn't eaten so much in a long time. He was stuffed to death. After dinner, the sky was already dark. Huamin looked down at the time on his phone. It was 7:40 p.m. "The car is here. Let's go." Chin Chu knew that she was afraid of going home too late. After all, she couldn't stay out all the time and make her mother worry. "You haven't paid the bill yet." Seeing that Chin Chu was about to leave, Huamin kindly reminded him. Chin Chu pursed his lips and smiled. "Aren't you the one treating me? When did I say that I was treating you? Shouldn't you? I've helped you so many times." Huamin, thinking that this meal must have cost a lot, Huamin wasn't sure. He felt in his pocket and found less than 100 yuan in change. He turned to look at Auntie Wong guiltily. "Auntie Wong, how much is it?" "Sco. President Chin is just teasing you. It's free." "How can it be free? You cooked such delicious food for us. I have to give you something." Huamin felt that it wasn't good to eat for free. He reached for the change in his pocket. At this moment, Auntie Wong smiled. "This is President Chin's place. Everything belongs to his family. The house is his, the fish pond is his, even my salary is from the Chin family. Why would I want money?" This is your house." Huamin was caught off guard. "It's not my family. To be exact, it's mine. 3 years ago my dad and I came here to look at the land. I liked this place at first sight, so my dad bought it. Usually, Auntie Wong and Uncle Wong help us take care of the fish pond and some of the free-range poultry here. My mom likes to eat green vegetables and meat, so our family sometimes comes here to get ingredients." "All right, as expected of the rich." Huamin blushed with shame. Seeing that this place belonged to Chin Chu's family, there was no need to pay. Otherwise, if he really paid for it, he was afraid that he wouldn't have enough pocket money for next week. When they walked out, the Audi that had escorted them was already parked at the entrance. Chin Chu opened the car door and let Huamin get in first. Then he sat in the car. Along the way, the two of them didn't talk much. Perhaps they were afraid that the driver would hear them and it would be awkward. When he got home, it was almost 9 o'clock. It wasn't too late. The timing was just right and Huamin was very satisfied with the food. "Why are you back so late, Mian?" her mother asked when she saw Huamin come back. "I went out with a few classmates." "Where did you go?" "To a fishing pond in the suburbs." "I went fishing." "Aya, you girl, you're so naughty. I won't have to worry about you in the future. Why are you fishing in the middle of the night? It's so dark, it's so dangerous." "Got it, Mom. I'm going to take a shower." Afraid that her mother would keep nagging her, Huamin found an excuse and quickly ran away. Xixin added, "Mom, my sister must have gone out with a boy. Look at how guilty she looks." "Shut up and do your homework." "Mom, you're so biased. Why do you scold me every time I play basketball until 7 o'clock? My sister comes back at 9 o'clock, and she's fine." Xixin expressed his strong dissatisfaction. At this moment Yang Mirong said something that hurt Xixin's heart. "If you can be like your sister and get first place every time and get a scholarship, you can play all night and not come back." Xixin. "Mom? You're my biological mother." Xixin wanted to cry but had no tears. After Huamin finished showering and crawled into bed in satisfaction, she received a text message on her phone. She thought it was Qin Chu and quickly opened it. Chapter 4705. Are you asleep? You are. Huamin didn't recognize the number and thought that someone had sent it to the wrong person. You don't even remember my number. Then how did you know to ask me for help at the billiard hall?" At the mention of the billiard hall, Huamin knew that this person was Hua Xiqian. At this time she wasn't familiar with Hua Xiqian. That day she contacted Hua Xiqian through Brother Jun and the others at the billiard hall. She didn't save his number but she saw that his number was 6 and 8. With such a good connection it must be Hua Xiqian himself. It was his style of being high profile. "What is it?" Huamin's tone was extremely unpleasant. The truth was she didn't like Hua Xiqian because he was a member of the Hua family. In Huamin's eyes, no one in the Hua family was good, especially Hua Jinghai, Shenjiani and her son and daughter. She had interacted with them a few times since she was young, and they always mocked and ridiculed her. Fortunately, in the past few years Huamin didn't let her mother look for him or ask Hua Jinghai for money. It could be said that she had cut off some ties with the Hua family. She really didn't know why this Hua Xiqian was looking for her at this time. Hearing how heartless Huamin was, Hua Xiqian decided to call her. Huamin hesitated for a moment before answering the call. She covered her head with the blanket, crawled under the covers and lowered her voice. After all, she didn't want her mother to know that she had any contact with the other members of the Hua family. "Hua Xiqian, what do you want?" Huamin tried her best to suppress her voice. "I'm not doing anything. I just want to ask little sister Mian. You're such a loyal person. Why would you kick me to the curb after I outlived my usefulness?" Hua Xiqian said this with a smile. However, Huamin could still hear the sarcasm in his voice. Hua Xiqian had indeed helped her and Lingling that day. After that she left in a hurry without saying a word. So was this guy here to ask for a favor? Huamin thought for a moment and replied calmly, "You helped me that day. I'm very grateful. Just a little gratitude and that's it? What do you want? As long as I have it I can give it to you. I have less than 100 yuan on me. If you want I can give it to you." Huamin thought that there was nothing he could do to repay Hua Xiqian, apart from the 80 yuan of change he had on him. After hearing Huamin's words, Hua Xiqian burst out laughing. 100 yuan. Do you think I'm a beggar? It's not even enough for me to eat a bowl of Haagen-Dazs. How can poor people like us compare to rich people like you? Huamin's face turned cold. He didn't give Hua Xiqian any face on the phone. "You're not poor. You're Dad's daughter. As long as you're willing to come back." "Shut up. I won't go back." It wasn't that Hua Jinghai didn't recognize Huamin, but he had said that he wanted Huamin to go back. However, Yang Meirong couldn't go back and Shinjiani couldn't tolerate Yang Meirong's existence. Therefore Hua Jinghai wanted Huamin to go back to the Hua family and be raised by Jiang Hong. Jiang Hong was the Hua family's wife and Hua Xiqian's adoptive mother. However, this suggestion was rejected by Huamin's mother. No matter how poor she was, she wouldn't send her daughter back. What kind of place was the Hua family? With that vixen Shinjiani around, how could Huamin survive if he went back? He would still be bullied to death by her mother and daughter. Seeing how excited Huamin was, Hua Xiqian smiled again. "I'm just teasing you, don't be so nervous. Little sister Mian. I actually like you a lot. Do you believe me?" Chapter 4706. Huamin. Hua Xiqian, stop talking nonsense. Hua Xiqian. "Ha, sister Mian, are you angry?" Huamin remained silent. "Okay, I won't tease you anymore. Rest early. We'll see each other soon." Before Huamin could reject him, Hua Xiqian hung up the phone. Huamin suddenly regretted asking Hua Xiqian for help that day. She should have asked Qin Chu for help. With Qin Chu's family's power, it would have been easy for her. Now it seemed like he owed Huasichen a big favor. Would Huasichen haunt him from now on? A long time later, Huamin thought that it was because she asked him for help that they met. That was why Huasichen was so obsessed with her. He loved her so much that he was obsessed with her. However, what she didn't know was that even if she didn't ask for help this time, Huasichen would still come to Huamin. Her feelings for Huamian were planted the moment she returned to the Hua family for the first time. Huasichen's world was extremely dark. No one knew what kind of pain he had suffered since he was young. They only knew about the halo around him. That's right, he was the bright and beautiful young master of the Hua family. Although he wasn't their biological son, he was raised by the legal wife, so his status was quite high. He was also quick-witted and was highly regarded by Hua Jinghai. When he was in university, he already helped the Hua family with some business deals. He had a private mansion, several sports cars, and money that he could spend like water. However, he wasn't happy. Later, he realized that Huamin could bring him unprecedented happiness. In other words, every time he saw Huamin, his heart would be extremely calm. This was an indescribable magic. After hanging up the phone, Huasichen lit a cigarette and held it in his mouth. A young woman walked out of the bathroom. Her figure and face were both stunning. "Push out. I'm done, it's your turn." The girl smiled shyly. Huasichen pulled off the only towel on the girl's body. Just then the door opened. A middle-aged woman in a dark purple cheongsam stood at the door with an ashen face. The naked girl jumped into Huasichen's arms in fright. You could say that she was acting coquettishly, or that she was like a little bird that needed someone's help. "Huashao, don't be afraid. Come, baby, let me introduce you. This is my mother." Huasichen smiled faintly as he pointed at the lady at the door. "Shinjiani is scheming against us and you're still in the mood to flirt?" Jiang Hong's livid face swept across Huasichen's dissolute face. "Three idiots, it's not surprising. Mom, don't be too nervous." "Shut up." Jiang Hong seemed to be very angry. She ordered the people behind her, "Kick this bitch out." "Yes, madam." Two maids came up and dragged the naked girl out of the bed. "Huashao," the girl cried. She thought that Huasichen would beg for mercy, but to her surprise, Huasichen didn't care at all. After all, this wasn't the first time something like this had happened. After the girl was dragged away, the room fell silent. Jiang Hong looked at Huasichen. He was only wearing a white bathrobe and the bag was still loose as if it would suddenly fall down at any moment. "Qianqian, how could you not listen to Mom?" Jiang Hong walked over slowly and touched Huasichen's face with her hands. She looked at him with a complicated expression. Chapter 4707. "Mom, it's late. You should go home." Note that Huasichen didn't use the word yuk when he spoke to his adoptive mother. It was obvious how close they were. "What? Have you grown up and grown up? Do you think you can survive in the Hua Corporation unscathed?" Huasichen lowered his head and didn't say anything. He was exceptionally quiet. Jiang Hong suddenly grabbed his hair tightly and pulled it up. It was as if she was going to pull his scalp off. A huge pain came. However, he still didn't fight back or resist, he just quietly let this woman go crazy. "Little bastard. Don't forget, if it weren't for me, you wouldn't have come to the Hua family. You might be worse than a beggar. You should thank me." "Mom, I've always thanked you. I've said thank you for many years." "That's not enough. Then what do you want?" Huasichen looked up with a trace of despair in his eyes. "Do you know what I want?" "You're crazy. You're my mother." Huasichen pushed her away in disgust. "Oh, what are you afraid of? You're not my son." As Jiang Hong spoke, she reached out and placed her hand under Huasichen's bathrobe, caressing him wantonly. This wasn't the first time something like this had happened, so he didn't find it strange. However, after talking to Huamin on the phone tonight, he felt like a normal person again. Therefore, he hated this woman in front of him. In the next moment, he pushed her away and pushed her to the ground. Jiang Hong was a little surprised and looked at him. "How dare you reject me? What? You fell in love with that woman just now? Do you believe that I can make her mysteriously disappear from this world tomorrow?" She thought that Huasichen had fallen in love with that girl just now. That was why she threatened him. "Whatever, but before that you better leave this place quickly. I have a lot of gossip and there are a lot of paparazzi lurking at the door. If they take any exciting pictures, I don't care, but believe it or not, old man Hua will skin you alive. And you won't be able to continue being a rich madam. You can't let everyone know that you're a slut, right?" Hua Xiqian's words were evil. However, Jiang Hong wasn't angry. She stood up gracefully. She stood up elegantly and patted the dust off her body. Little bastard, you've really grown up. Very well, I like it. Just wait and see. After Jiang Hong left, Hua Xiqian sighed as he lay on the big soft bed. He hated himself for being so useless. Why was the Hua family so? Why was Hua's crazy? Why did they sell their own children? He would rather live in an ordinary family and live an ordinary life just like Hua Mian. Late night, Hua Xiqian slowly fell asleep with the last glimmer of hope in his mind. Man, you're so good. You're so pure and real. You let me see my last glimmer of hope. If I still believe that there's something good in this world, it must be about you. So, in order for me to have happiness in the future, I have to have you first. Living with you is my true happiness, my true salvation. This was Hua Xiqian's inner monologue. Actually, at this moment he wasn't evil. It could only be said that he wanted to redeem himself. The next day, after lunch break, Gao Ran and Qin Chu went to the basketball court. Hey, I heard you're first in your grade this time? Yes. I heard that you reported Hua Min's paper and made her second place? Gao Ran smiled. Yes. Qin Chu lowered his head and bounced the basketball. He was practicing his hands and answered casually. Ha. You're awesome, bro. Gao Ran burst into laughter. Chapter 4708. What the fuck are you laughing at? Qin Chu rarely cursed, but Gao Ran's smile was too wretched. Therefore he couldn't help but complain. It would have been better if he didn't say anything. Once he did, Qin Chu laughed even louder. Oh my god. Are you an idiot? You like her but you didn't pursue her. You even deliberately reported her and beat her. Oh my god, Qin Chu, are you trying to go to heaven? No wonder Zhu Lingling stared at me when she saw me today. So you did such a bad thing. I only got first place based on my own ability. Qin Chu didn't think much of it. He didn't waste any more time talking to Gao Ran and went straight to the court to play. There were always some girls on the basketball court who came to see handsome guys. In the past, most of them liked the captain, but now most of them liked Qin Chu. Although he was like a 1,000-year-old ice cube, he still couldn't stop the girls from falling in love with him. There were always girls who came to give him water. But Qin Chu didn't drink a single sip. Most of them were taken advantage of by Gao Ran. After the game, Qin Chu and Gao Ran sat down to rest. Captain is a little absent-minded today. What's going on? Did you break up? Gao Ran asked nosily. When they were playing, he noticed that Xing Yan was a little out of it. After a game, everyone was resting. He put on his jacket and went out. What does it have to do with me? Qin Chu was really not interested in anything other than himself and Hua Min. After lunch, Hua Min was sleepy. Zhu Lingling was bored, so she went downstairs alone. She found a corner to daydream and get some fresh air. She didn't expect to meet Xing Yan here. Zhu Lingling, he said. Zhu Lingling turned her head to look at him, but there was no reaction in her eyes. She didn't really like him, she was just acting out of spite. What's the matter? Zhu Lingling's attitude was cold. Zhu Lingling's indifference startled Xing Yan slightly, as if he wasn't used to it. After all, he was a boy who had a large number of fans wherever he went. Why haven't you been watching basketball recently? I don't like basketball anyway. Zhu Lingling answered naturally. Then in the past, I used to feel bored and wanted to join in the fun. Now that I feel bored, I won't go. Zhu Lingling's answer was unintentionally hurtful. She was wearing a blue and white school uniform and her long hair fluttered in the wind. Standing in the crowd, he was still outstanding. Zhu Lingling. To me, Xing Yan was a little unwilling to give up. He wanted to ask more questions, but when the words reached his mouth, he realized that he couldn't say it. Or rather, he was too embarrassed to say it. What do you think? Zhu Lingling's attitude wasn't good either. He was a little aggressive. If I break up with Jiang Xiaoying, will you date me? After holding it in for a long time, this kid finally bravely asked this question. He thought that Zhu Lingling would be shocked, but to his surprise her face was still as calm as water. It was as if she had already predicted what Xing Yan was going to say. Ha! Zhu Lingling chuckled softly. What are you laughing at? Xing Yan seemed to be very unhappy with Zhu Lingling's laughter. Zhu Lingling walked towards him step by step. The two of them were very close to each other. Zhu Lingling stared at this tall and handsome boy and smiled. Let me ask you, do you like me? What did you mean by that? Xingyan replied in a low voice. Then let me ask you again, if you like me. That day outside the basketball court when Zhang Xiaoying and her people surrounded me and my friends, where the hell were you at that time? Why did Gao Ran and Qin Chu come out to save us? Chapter 4709. Zhu Lingling's question stumped the boy. He didn't go out to save her because he felt embarrassed. After all, it was a matter between women. Plus, Zhang Xiaoying's family had always been connected to the underworld, so he had some concerns. Now that Zhang Xiaoying was very close to a man in the underworld, their relationship was on the verge of collapse. Although they hadn't broken up yet, they weren't far from it. Xingyan wasn't an idiot, so he wanted to take the opportunity to play the good guy to Zhu Lingling. He wanted her to think that he broke up with Zhang Xiaoying because of her. However, although Zhu Lingling was a straightforward person, she wasn't stupid. Naturally, she wouldn't let him get what he wanted so easily. I'm sorry about that day. As a boy, I really can't get involved in a fight between girls. That's why you're not suitable to be my boyfriend. If I'm in danger in the future and get ganged up on by girls, you'll still not stand up for me, right? That's enough. There's nothing between us anyway. We won't be in a hurry in the future. Zhu Lingling didn't want to waste time talking to this guy anymore. She turned around and went upstairs. As Gao Ran and Qin Chu walked back, they heard rumors in the hallway. Hey, did you guys hear? The basketball captain confessed to the prettiest girl in the first class? Prettiest girl in the first class? Who's that? Zhu Lingling? Yeah, it's her. They really are a good match. But did the basketball captain break up with the cheerleader? Upon hearing this, Gao Ran froze. Zhu Lingling is with Xingyan? He asked Qin Chu. How would I know? Mr. Qin looked innocent. Is Zhu Lingling blind? Xingyan looks tall and strong, but he's actually a softie. Why would she like a man like that? It's Zhu Lingling's business. Why are you so excited? Qin Chu looked at him. I was just fighting for the girls in your class. Gao Ran tried to twist his words. Really? I think you're just unwilling to accept it. Are you kidding me? I don't like that girl in your class either. He's so ugly. What's the point of being pretty? I don't think Zhu Lingling is as good as Huamin. He's always flirting with other guys. He's so worrisome. Whoever marries her will be cuckolded for years. As soon as Gao Ran finished speaking, he was kicked from behind. The strength of this kick was so great that he almost fell to the ground. Who is it? Gao Ran turned around and raised his fist. Then when he saw Zhu Lingling's face, he was instantly terrified. What a coincidence. Gao Ran said guiltily. Zhu Lingling crossed her arms and said, You're a big guy, but you're talking bad about a girl behind her back. Do you want to be a bitch? If she didn't go to the washroom before class, she wouldn't have heard this guy talking bad about her behind her back. Huamin stood beside Zhu Lingling and only smiled. Qin Chu looked at Huamin with a gentle gaze. It's a misunderstanding. Misunderstanding my ass. Gao Ran, I think your mouth is too small. Do you want me to make it bigger? Zhu Lingling's aura was famous throughout the entire grade. Gao Ran didn't want to confront her directly, so he quickly apologized. Beauty. I was just being rude. Please don't hold it against me. Gao Ran bowed and apologized. Gao Ran, are you fucking in love with me? Otherwise, why are you always butting in on my business? Zhu Lingling yelled without a care in the world. The surrounding students immediately looked at them strangely. Gao Ran's face immediately turned red. Chapter 4710. What Gao Ran didn't expect was that Zhu Lingling would be so daring to make a fuss. She made him lose face, but more than that he felt awkward and shy. Lingling. Let's go back first. Huamin grabbed Zhu Lingling's hand and was about to leave. Fortunately, Zhu Lingling still listened to Huamin. Gao Ran, just you wait. Before she left, she didn't forget to threaten Gao Ran. Gao Ran didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Looking at the backs of the two girls leaving, Gao Ran didn't forget to gossip. Hey Chu. Do you think Zhu Lingling and Xingyan are together? Haven't you been kicked enough? Your butt doesn't hurt, right? Gao Ran was speechless. When they returned to class, Zhu Lingling was still angry. She scolded Gao Ran for being a busybody and gossipy all the way back. Huamin couldn't help but laugh. Lingling, you shouldn't be scolding Gao Ran. Shouldn't you be scolding the captain of the basketball team? What did he say to you today? Don't talk about it. That idiot is so low. Why did I flirt with him? I'm so unlucky. Then what are you? Huamin still didn't know what was going on between Zhu Lingling and the basketball captain. Anyway, the entire first grade was saying that Zhu Lingling had already accepted Xing Yan's pursuit. After all, so many people saw the two of them talking alone in the corridor, so the rumors spread even more. At that time the school was like this. Everyone was studying in isolation and it was very boring and stressful. So the gossip between male and female students became the only fun. I'm accusing you and you don't believe me? Zhu Lingling glared at Huamin. How would I know if you won't go crazy again? And accept him? Don't worry, I won't go crazy again. That guy is a coward. Last time we were surrounded outside the basketball court. Where the hell did he go? In the end, Qin Chu and Gao Ran came to help. So, Gao Ran is our savior. You just scolded him like that. Huamin continued to laugh. But wasn't he too gossipy? Zhu Lingling felt a little guilty. But you hit him. No, you kicked him too hard. Are you sure Gao Ran will hold a grudge against you? But she wasn't test. No, they fights they stay. But beating was a sign of affection and scolding was a sign of love. At that time love was so pure. A lot of it was love born from when you bullied me and I bullied you. Many boys didn't know how to chase girls. Back then there were no such tricks. So when you like someone you had to bully her, tease her and make her angry. In the end you succeeded in getting her attention. This could be compared to the male and female leads in a gay idol drama, Meteor Garden. Zhu Lingling wasn't in a good mood because everyone knew about it. After school she didn't ask Huamin out. She took the bus home alone. Huamin, on the other hand, saw a familiar face when he got on the bus with his back to the study. Yes, she didn't expect to see him here. Hua Xiqian wasn't wearing colorful clothes, which was rare. It was just a simple coffee-colored short-sleeved shirt with a print from a famous brand. Then he sat at the back of the bus. Chapter 47:11. There was only one empty seat next to him and it was obvious that no one else dared to take it. Huamin glanced at the empty seat but didn't sit down. She stood in front of the iron railing as if she didn't see him. Mion, I saved a seat for you, come sit down. Hua Xiqian said loudly and patted the empty seat next to him. Huamin's face was cold. No need. If you don't sit then I won't sit either. With that Hua Xiqian stood up and walked to Huamin's side. Huamin suddenly wanted to turn around and get out of the car, but the car had already driven away. Why are you here? Huamin deliberately lowered his voice so that the person next to him wouldn't hear. Hua Xiqian smiled. I was waiting for you. Huamin was speechless. This was the first time this young master didn't drive a sports car and took a bus, right? Only he would do things so unconventionally and give people headaches. Why were you waiting for me? For you to thank me. Huamian didn't know what to say. At this moment she really regretted asking Hua Xiqian for help. She didn't know that she would get into so much trouble. Tell me, how do you want me to thank you? Treat me to something to eat. I haven't eaten yet. Hua Xiqian said shamelessly. Okay, what do you want to eat? Huamin touched the 60 yuan in his pocket and gritted his teeth. I heard potato noodles are delicious. After Hua Xiqian said this, Huamin wondered if he had heard wrong. What? Potato noodles? A big bowl of potato noodles that cost 5 yuan? Are you sure? Huamin asked again. I haven't tried it yet but my friend told me that it's delicious. Do you know where I can get authentic? Hua Xiqian turned around and looked at Huamin innocently. Alright, come with me then. After 3 stops Huamin got off the bus with Hua Xiqian. The two of them arrived at the food street where there was a small potato noodle shop. The name of the shop was also very funny. Two Good Brothers. 2 thick and strong middle-aged men were enthusiastically selling freshly cooked potato flour. There was a sea of people inside and there was no more space. Huamin glanced at Hua Xiqian. Wait for me here. I'll go line up. All right. He smiled warmly. Huamin waited in line for 15 minutes before he managed to buy 2 bowls of potato noodles. Because there were no more seats inside they had to pack it up. Here you go. Eat here. Hua Xiqian was surprised. How about, we eat in KFC? Huamin suggested. After all, KFC had a lot of seats and air conditioning. I don't think that's a good idea. How about we eat in the park? Hua Xiqian was very familiar with this place and often drove by. He saw the west entrance of Baiyuan Garden nearby. Sure. Huamin nodded. The two of them carried their respective bowls of potato noodles and arrived at Baiyuan Garden. Baiyuan Garden wasn't big, but the greenery inside was very good. When the two of them came in, the seats were also overcrowded with people. They were all occupied by people. Huamin was just about to say, "Why don't we go back to KFC?" Huasiqian walked towards a seat under a big willow tree. There sat a couple who were kissing each other. "Excuse me, can you give us your seat?" Huasiqian asked with a smile. "Why?" The young man was just about to say, "Why?" Huasiqian took out $100 bill from his pocket and handed it over. "Damn, what are you doing? 2 bowls of potato noodles aren't even $100. Huasiqian, you're crazy," Huamin scolded in a low voice. Chapter 47:12. At that time, RMB was still very valuable and 100 yuan was really a lot. Therefore Huasiqian successfully bought a seat with 100 yuan. Then he smiled at Huamin. "Come and sit here." Huamin walked over in an explosive mood and muttered, "If you have 100 yuan, why did you come to the park to buy a public seat? We could have found a restaurant with a good environment to eat." "But I just want to eat potato noodles." Huasiqian still looked innocent. "You win." Huamin didn't say anything and sat down beside Huasiqian. The two of them began to eat the piping hot potato noodles. Huamin liked spicy food, perhaps because it was too cold in the north. Most people here liked spicy food such as spicy hot pot, spicy fragrant pot, spicy grilled fish, and so on. Therefore, just as they went to buy potato noodles, Huamin bought Huasiqian the same as his. It was spicy and the potato noodles had red oil in them. It was a shocking sight. But it was good news for spicy people. Potato noodles were one of Huamin's favorite snacks. He would miss it if he didn't eat it for a long time. Firstly, it was really delicious, and secondly, it was really cheap. Huasiqian saw Huamin eating with relish, so he lowered his head and started eating as well. Huamin probably never thought that one day he would be with someone like Huasiqian. The two of them sat in the park and ate potato noodles. What a strange scene this is. But it had happened. After quietly eating the potato noodles, Huamin asked him, "Can I go now? But I still want to eat another bowl. What should I do?" Huasiqian still looked innocent. Fuck. Of course that was what Huamian was thinking. "Little sister Mian, can you please buy me another bowl?" "All right." Huamin gritted his teeth. "I also want a bottle of soda, thank you. I want it cold." "All right." Huamin really wanted to scold him. "Huasiqian, why are you so nosy?" However, he held himself back. After all, he had to repay the favor. After this incident, she really didn't want to have anything to do with him anymore. Huasiqian sat in the park while Huamin turned around and jogged back to the queue to buy potato powder. As soon as Huamin left, Huasiqian opened his Louis Vuitton men's shoulder bag. He calmly took out the stomach medicine and swallowed it directly. Yes, he couldn't eat spicy food. But she didn't know. He had checked all of her preferences and knew that she liked to eat spicy soup, sour and spicy noodles, potato noodles and other snacks. So he decided to eat with her. Even if his stomach was burning with pain, he didn't care. Not everyone's love could be shown. For some people you seem to think that they like you a little. But in reality they might have given up a lot. Huasiqian was a flamboyant person on the outside, but on the inside he was a very tolerant person. Otherwise, he wouldn't have survived and reached the top in the Hua family's atmosphere. Huamin jogged back again with potato powder and a bottle of cold soda in his hand. She didn't really want to buy it from him. After all, a bottle of soda cost 2 yuan. This was pocket money her mother gave her, not money for her to eat and drink. Seeing Huamin come back sweating, Huasiqian couldn't bear it. "I don't want to drink soda anymore. You can have it." Fuck. This time he really said it out loud. Huamin thought to himself, "Are you torturing me on purpose? What about the potato powder? I'll eat this." Huasiqian slowly took the second bowl of potato powder from Huamin's hand. This bowl obviously had more chili oil added. It was even redder than the previous bowl. Huamin did it on purpose and he knew it. Huasiqian smiled, lowered his head and took a bite. "Is it good?" Huamin asked him a little mischievously. Chapter 47:13. It's delicious," he answered calmly. "Then eat more. Finish it all." Huamin smirked. "Okay." He nodded as usual and simply said, "Okay. Soda, are you sure you don't want to drink it?" No. Then I'll drink it. Huamin twisted open the cap. After receiving his confirmation, Huamin quickly took a big gulp. After eating spicy food, drinking a cold soda was a great pleasure. Everyone said that eating this combination would cause diarrhea, but Huamin's stomach was probably not that bad. He didn't feel any discomfort at all. After drinking a few sips of the soda, she looked at the lake in the park with satisfaction. Her mood suddenly calmed down. Then she looked at Huasiqian beside her. He lowered his head and continued to eat the super spicy potato noodles. He didn't have any reaction. Huamin originally expected him to take a bite and choke on the spicy food. His expression would be worse than death. However, she waited for a long time. Even after Huasiqian finished the second bowl of potato noodles, she still didn't see the expression she was looking for. This guy can eat spicy food this well? Huamin thought to herself but didn't say anything. Finally, after he finished the second bowl, Huasiqian elegantly took out a tissue and wiped his mouth. I'm full. Thank you for dinner, Mian. It's okay. But this time I thank you. In the future, you can't cause trouble for me. Huamin really didn't want to have anything to do with anyone in the Hua family. Even if Huasiqian wasn't as annoying as Hua Yanyan and Huasi, he was still a member of the Hua family. How can I do that? Mian, you worked so hard today. You treated me to good food and ran twice. You're so tired. I can't bear to do that. Next time I'll treat you to something better. It's okay. Just don't appear in front of me. Huamin lowered his head and swirled the soda in his hand. Do you hate the Hua family? What do you think? Huamin did not raise his head. But I'm not from the Hua family. I'm just an adopted son. My surname isn't Hua, so you don't have to be wary of me. Forget it. The fact that you were able to grow up safely in the Hua family and manage the company shows that you're not a simple person. Stop pretending to be weak. After hearing Huamin's words, Huasiqian laughed heartily. Haha, my little sister Mian's IQ is indeed not to be trifled with. I'm impressed. Alright, I don't have time to chat with you. I still have to go home. There won't be any cars later. I'll drive you. No need. It's okay. I need some time to digest after eating. Let's go. I'll take the bus with you. Huamin thought that Huasiqian was going to take a taxi or send a car over. To her surprise, he still wanted to take the bus. She was speechless. It was indeed getting late. Huamin still had a few minutes to walk home. Huasiqian was still worried. Just like that, under Huamin's extremely unwilling circumstances, Huasiqian still sent her home. On the way, the two did not speak much. Huamin carried her backpack and looked down at the scenery outside the car. Huasiqian was not relieved until Huamin got out of the car. I'm not getting off. I'm going back. Be careful. See you never. With these words, Huamian quickly jumped out of the car. She was truly relieved of her burden. Huasiqian looked at the girl's thoughts and smiled gently. Then he only sat for one stop and immediately got out of the car. He took out his phone and called the driver. I'm in the eastern suburbs. Come and pick me up. Take me to the hospital. At this moment his stomach was churning. He wanted to burn up in the next moment. However, in the car just now in front of Huamin he was as calm as water. Chapter 47:14. After treating Huasiqian to dinner, Huamin felt a lot more relaxed. After all, he had repaid the favor, so there wouldn't be any trouble in the future, right? It was still early when she got home. She cleaned the room with her mother and then watched the 8 o'clock drama together. Jishin was doing his homework on the side. When he encountered something he didn't know, he didn't dare to ask his sister. After all, he was afraid that his sister would call him a pig. At 9:30 p.m. Huamin was a little sleepy, so he washed up and went to bed. Qin Chu sent him a message. Qin Chu, what are you doing? Huamin, I just lay down. Qin Chu, so, you're under the covers? Huamin froze. Although Qin Chu's question wasn't wrong, why did it feel like something was wrong? Huamin, oh, what's up? Qin Chu, let's have lunch tomorrow. Huamin replied jokingly, are you treating? Qin Chu, yeah. Qin Chu really didn't like to joke, so whenever Huamin joked he would answer seriously. It was so awkward that Huamin didn't reply. Unexpectedly, a minute later, Qin Chu added, bring Zhu Lingling. What? Are you interested in my Lingling? Huamin also smiled cheekily. Qin Chu didn't reply at all. After all, he didn't want to answer such a stupid question. After putting down his phone, Chin-Chu lay on the bed and couldn't help but laugh. Who said that Huimin was a genius? He was obviously a retard. Otherwise, why would everyone know that he liked her? She even asked if he was interested in Zhu Lingling. The next day, the two didn't talk much in the morning. Huimin was still sleeping in the last row. He was reading romance novels and reading unofficial history books. Chin-Chu, on the other hand, had been playing with his phone in his seat. It was as if the two of them had nothing to do with each other. Time for lunch break. As soon as the bell rang, Lu Xing rushed over. She still ignored the gazes of the other students and looked at Chin-Chu ingratiatingly. There's a new Sichuan restaurant nearby. The fish with pickled cabbage and pickled vegetables is delicious. My dad got me a gold card with 10,000 yuan in it. I want to take you there to try it. Lu Xing indeed came from a well-off family. She was the only daughter in her family, so she was a little overbearing and liked to be aggressive. She also liked to mock and ridicule others and had a princess syndrome. Other than her classmate, an honest girl from the countryside, almost no other women liked her. However, she didn't care about these things. After all, she had come to second high in class 1 for Chin-Chu. She and Chin-Chu were classmates in junior high school. During those 3 years, she secretly swore to herself. In the future, no matter what, she would pursue Chin-Chu and marry him. It didn't matter if others said that she was shameless or that he was shameless. He didn't care. After all, happiness was between the two of them. Chin-Chu didn't even look up. He lowered his head and continued to play his game. Then he flatly rejected, "I don't like pickled cabbage and pickled vegetables." "Then what do you like to eat?" Lu Xing didn't seem to give up. Chin-Chu ignored him. He stood up and looked at Huimin behind him. "Let's go to the cafeteria." Huimin was still a little embarrassed. After all, she didn't want to be the scapegoat. She saw Lu Xing's murderous gaze. However, in order not to be killed by that gaze, she silently followed Chin-Chu to the cafeteria. On the way, she couldn't help but ask, "Hey, I say, are you trying to use me to get rid of Lu Xing?" Huimin suddenly felt unconvinced. She felt that this boy had ulterior motives towards her. Chapter 47:15. Chin-Chu stopped in her tracks, turned around and glanced at Huimin's face. "Do you think you're so handsome? That's why you dare to talk to me like this?" Huimin, think before you speak in the future. Huimin, damn, was she being humiliated? She wanted to argue, but they had already reached the entrance of the cafeteria. The cafeteria was always crowded, and there was a long line in the morning and evening. There would only be a few people when class was about to start. "What do you want to eat? Let's line up first," Huimin asked her. Chin-Chu didn't say anything and went straight to the second floor of the cafeteria. The second floor of the cafeteria was a high-end cafeteria. Most of the people there were teachers, school leaders, or leaders who came for inspection. Although the food was delicious, it was also expensive. Ordinary students couldn't afford it. A meal would cost at least 1,000 to 2,000 yuan. This was already a sky-high price for a commoner like Huimin. Therefore, when Chin-Chu went up to the second floor, Huimin hesitated. She didn't continue to follow him. "What are you waiting for? Come up." Chin-Chu turned around and glanced at Huimin. You go up first. I'll wait for Lingling. She went to buy some water. She'll be right back." Huimin found an excuse. After all, she didn't want to make things awkward. Because her classmates all knew about her family background. If she went up to the second floor, she would be laughed at, right? A poor girl pretending to be rich? Just as she was hesitating, Zhu Lingling came back. She put her arm around Huimin's shoulder. "Hey, what are you thinking about?" Huimin looked down at the 2 bottles of peach juice in Zhu Lingling's hands. This was the juice that both she and Lingling liked, but because it cost 3 yuan a bottle, she rarely drank it. Zhu Lingling often bought it for her. "I'm fine." "Then let's go up. Didn't Chin-Chu say that he would treat us to a good meal?" Zhu Lingling didn't feel guilty at all. Knowing that Chin-Chu was a nouveau riche, eating a big meal was nothing to him. "How about I don't go? I'll eat downstairs." Huimin still felt that it was not a good idea to go up. At least that place was not suitable for him. For a tiger. He's treating, what's there to be afraid of? It'll be a waste if we don't eat. Let's go. Zhu Lingling grabbed Huimin's hand and dragged him upstairs. Huamin did not dare to struggle as he was afraid of attracting the attention of the surrounding students. But when she went upstairs and found Qin Chu, she realized that Gao Ran was also there. Zhu Lingling didn't seem surprised. Perhaps this was within her expectations. However, Huamin was a bit hesitant because she saw that Zhu Lingling only bought 3 bottles of drinks. She originally thought that it would be her, Qin Chu and Lingling. Now that she bought 1 bottle less, how was she going to split it? Huamin's first reaction was to drink 1 bottle with Lingling. After all, they were best friends, so she would pour it into a cup and share it. However, Zhu Lingling handed 1 bottle to Qin Chu and placed the other 2 in front of Huamin and herself. "Where's my drink?" Gao Ran looked and saw that the other 3 all had drinks, but he didn't. Zhu Lingling replied unhappily, "I didn't know you were coming, so I didn't prepare anything." "Fuck. You woman, you did it on purpose." Gao Ran knew that Zhu Lingling was definitely holding a grudge. Huamin also felt bad that Gao Ran didn't have any drinks, so he said, "Why don't you drink this one and Lingling and I will drink 1 bottle." "Okay, Huamin is the best." Gao Ran smiled cheekily as he went to take Huamin's drink. But Qin Chu slapped his hand away. "You drink mine." Qin Chu handed his to Gao Ran. "Fuck, you're so generous." "No way. Did the sun rise from the west?" Gao Ran was ecstatic. Qin Chu ignored him and said to Huamin calmly, "Let's drink 1 bottle." Huamin froze. What was going on? Chapter 47:16. Before Huamin could say anything, Qin Chu's words left Huamin speechless. Zhu Lingling almost choked to death. "Ahem ahem ahem. Are you two like this now? Are you going public? You're so arrogant, my classmate." Huamin blushed at Zhu Lingling's random question. However, he still denied it. "Don't overthink it, it's not like that." "It's like that," Qin Chu interrupted. "Qin Chu, are you trying to cause trouble?" Huamin stared at him with his round eyes. "Didn't I tell you when I got first place last time? From that day onwards you're my girlfriend." "Whoa whoa 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 whoa. You two are together now?" Gao Ran turned away from the peach juice with a sinister smile on his face. "Do you believe that I'll smash your mouth?" Qin Chu glanced at him faintly. "I'm joking, huh? Congratulations. I wish you two a long and happy marriage, and a child soon." Gao Ran continued to watch the show. Zhu Lingling couldn't stop laughing. Yes yes yes, congratulations. You 2 straight A students together, what will your child be like in the future? Will you give birth to a super straight A student? You 2 are overthinking it, I'm only 15. Huamin was sweating profusely. Back then, love was still very simple and there were almost no high school students who got pregnant early. Many boys and girls felt that holding hands might be a sign of being too open. Not to mention the fact that they would roll around in bed. Therefore, when Zhu Lingling and Gao Ran said that they would have a child soon, Huamin was so embarrassed that he wanted to find a hole to hide in. "That's enough, you two. Say 1 more word and you'll have to pay the bill later." Qin Chu was still as calm as ever. No, Mr. Rich, we still want to ride your coattails." Gao Ran smiled cheekily. "You two are really a good match." 4 words, colluding together. Qin Chu looked at Gao Ran and then at Zhu Lingling. To his surprise, before Gao Ran could say anything, Zhu Lingling got angry first. "Qin Chu, you're the one who's enough. What's wrong with your eyes? How can you force me to be a couple with this pig? I'm so pretty, gentle and cute. Why would I like a gossipy man? She's not bad looking, but do you have a gentle and pleasant person? Do you have any shame?" Zhu Lingling. "I've never seen a girl as shameless as you." "Fuck. Give me back my peach juice. Give me back my peach juice. Why should I give it to you? Qin Chu gave me the drink. I gave it to Qin Chu." Zhu Lingling wouldn't let it go. "I don't care who gave it to Qin Chu. All I know is that Qin Chu gave it to me. Why should I give it to you?" Huamin was troubled by their bickering. "Big brother, big sister. Are you guys done? I'm so hungry, I want to eat. Let's order." Qin Chu pushed the menu in front of Huamin. Huamin silently picked up the menu and looked at the first page. He was so scared that he almost peed his pants. A serving of sweet and sour pork ribs cost 128 yuan. A serving of spiced beef cost 158 yuan, and a cup of plain milk tea cost 38 yuan. Even the most common bowl of plain noodles, which was actually just plain noodles, cost 48 yuan. Huamin felt that this place was too much of a scam. Students really couldn't afford it. However, it was only limited to commoners like her. Many of the rich second-generation children of the government officials could still afford it. The food here is so expensive. Why don't we eat downstairs? The soft fried pork fillet downstairs is so delicious, and it's only 18 yuan, Huamin suggested. No. Isn't there a rich person treating us today? See. Let's find the feeling of eating rich. Then Zhu Lingling snatched the menu and began to order crazily. Chapter 47:17. 1 dongpa pig knuckle, 1 steamed pork, 1 cola chicken wing and 1 crispy fish. You don't even eat vegetables. All 4 dishes are meat, Gao Ran sighed. You're not the one paying. It's better for you to talk less, Zhu Lingling retorted. Gao Ran didn't know what to say. Qin Chu glanced at Huamin indifferently. Continue ordering. No, Lingling already ordered 4 dishes. For already mine. You guys can order but don't order too much. It'll be a waste if we can't finish it. Hurry up, don't waste time. 4 dishes per person, Qin Chu ordered. Hey, what's wrong with our rich guy today? Seems like he's super nice to his girlfriend. You're so generous. I've known you for 7 or 8 years, but I've never seen you so generous. At most you'll treat me to a few pancakes. Gao Ran complained. If you say another word you'll pay. Qin Chu was still calm. Gao Ran immediately shut up. Seeing that Qin Chu didn't seem to be joking, Huamin had no choice but to pick up the menu and look at it. Thinking that Lingling had ordered so much meat just now, he decided to order a vegetarian dish. Therefore, as he looked at the menu, he said, celery shrimp, green pepper eggs, stir-fried mushrooms, and stir-fried string beans. Then Gao Ran took the menu and muttered, fruitwood roast duck, steamed scallops with garlic and vermicelli, glutinous rice meatballs, and my favorite coleslaw pig ears. You're still shamelessly talking about me. You're not a vegetarian either. Still 4 meat dishes. Shameless. Zhu Lingling seized the opportunity to mock him. I'm a man, I'm not afraid of being fat. You're a girl, aren't you afraid of becoming a pig? If I become a pig, I'll marry you, and give birth to a litter of pigs for you. You're indeed vicious. Gao Ran looked at Zhu Lingling. The 2 people next to him began to argue with each other again. Qin Chu acted as if he didn't hear anything. She quietly picked up the menu and looked at it for a while. Then she said, I want dry-fried river prawns, braised wood ear with scallions, lemon melon sticks and steamed chicken with saliva. And also a Westlake beef soup. Huamin listened quietly. He felt that Qin Chu's order was quite good. The combination of meat and vegetables was quite unique. After the waiter took away the menu, the 4 of them sat facing each other and suddenly quieted down. Actually, they weren't that familiar with each other in the first place. If they started chatting awkwardly, it would be really awkward. Huamin, did you know? You're the first girl Chu likes, his first love. Huh. Gao Ran was a busybody. Oh really? Zhu Lingling giggled. We're not like that. Huamin still wanted to explain. Hey. Don't worry, we're all friends. We won't expose you two. But you two have to be more restrained in class. Don't get too close and flirt with each other. After all, the school is very strict. I heard that if you're caught in puppy love, you'll be punished. If it's too bad, you'll be expelled. It doesn't matter. With our grades, many schools will fight to get us even if we leave second high. You can ask the principal if he dares to expel us. Qin Chu rarely boasted, and this time was no exception. Everyone knew that when Huamin first came to second high, the principal personally came to persuade him several times. In the end, the principal offered very good conditions. How could he bear to give up on such a talent? So now that we have something on you, you two can do whatever you want. This is the first time I feel that good grades can be so awesome. You're practically standing shoulder to shoulder with the sun. Gao Ran laughed mischievously. So now, only straight-A students have the right to be in a relationship, and straight-A students can't? Zhu Lingling understood what Qin Chu meant and immediately had a bitter expression. Chapter 47:18. Huamin laughed. Hey Zhu Lingling, you're going overboard. I'm telling the truth. That's the situation now. You're a bad student, but that doesn't stop you from dating, Zhu Lingling. She really dated that coward Xing Yan? Upon hearing Huamin's words, Gao Ran felt quite upset. He felt like a flower stuck in cow dung. He really didn't understand why Zhu Lingling, who was so domineering, would fall for that coward. He didn't have any sense of responsibility at all. Don't fucking spread rumors. Zhu Lingling glared at Gao Ran. Then she looked for Huamin to settle the score. My Mion, you traitor. You used to be inseparable from me and we were together every day. Now that you have a boyfriend you turn against me. I'm telling the truth. Huamin continued to smile gently. What truth? Come on, tell me. Who's my boyfriend? Isn't your boyfriend from class 8? My class. Who is it? Zhu Lingling, you're so good. You even reached out to class 8. Upon hearing that he was from class 8, Gao Ran couldn't sit still anymore. However, upon hearing that he was from class 8, he knew that it wasn't the basketball team captain. Far away on the horizon right in front of us, Qin Chu said. Huamin and Qin Chu looked at each other and smiled. The two of them really had a tacit understanding. Damn. You're not talking about me, right? Gao Ran finally realized. The meaning of far away on the horizon right in front of us was very obvious. There were a total of 4 people and 3 of them were from class 1. Only Gao Ran was from class 8. After Gao Ran finished speaking, Qin Chu and Huamin still smiled and said nothing. In your dreams. Why would I date an idiot like you? Don't. Even if you want to be with me, I can't accept it. The two of them started bickering with each other again, starting to fight as soon as there was a disagreement. However, Huamin had a strange feeling in his heart. She had a feeling that Lingling would marry Gao Ran in the future. Although Gao Ran was good at talking, he was a kind person. She and Qin Chu could tell that he liked Lingling. As the saying goes, the onlooker sees the game more clearly than the person directly involved. The dishes were served one after another. Huamin looked at the dazzling array of dishes on the table and sighed softly. The 4 of us are eating 16 dishes. It's too extravagant. This is the most extravagant meal I've ever had. Usually she, her mother, and Jixin would only eat 2 dishes, 1 meat dish and 1 vegetable dish. It was indeed wasteful for 4 people to eat 16 dishes. Zhu Lingling, however, didn't think it was a big deal. After all, Qin Chu's family's wealth was unimaginable. Sure enough, Gao Ran smiled and said, this is nothing. Chu usually eats 8 dishes when he's alone at home. He takes a few bites of each dish. His stomach is very precious. Chapter 47:19. Hey, you're showing off your love again. Can't we eat properly? Gao Ran complained. We're going to reject your love and kick your dog bowl, Zhu Lingling said domineeringly. Why don't we leave first and you 2 pay the bill? Qin Chu said seriously. The 2 immediately fell silent. The advantage of being rich was that you could diss others at any time, but others wouldn't dare to diss you. Huamin was both angry and amused. The 4 of them were probably hungry except for Qin Chu, who ate elegantly. The other 3 could be described as a hurricane. Zhu Lingling in particular didn't care about her ladylike image at all. She just ate the pork shoulder and praised it. Huamin thought to himself, the food here is so expensive. If it's not delicious, who would come? After eating and drinking to their heart's content, there were still a lot of 16 dishes left. The dishes in the north were very big and in large quantities, so it was very affordable. Therefore, no matter how much the 4 of them ate, it was impossible for them to finish all 16 dishes. Looking at the dishes, Huamin gritted his teeth. Although he knew that he would lose fans if he said it out loud, he still said it. Can I take the rest home? Huamin glanced at Qin Chu. Zhu Lingling and Gao Ran were a little embarrassed. After all, they had been pampered since they were young. Their family conditions were relatively good, and these children were indeed not used to eating takeout. Huamin thought that Qin Chu would be unhappy if he said this. However, she really didn't want to waste food. Huamin lived in the eastern suburbs, which was a civilian area. Since he was young, he had seen many neighbors who ate and dressed poorly. There was even a family that only had a grandmother and 3 grandchildren. The children's parents had died in a car accident. Their family relied on government subsidies to survive, and their lives were extremely simple. It was fine in summer and they could grow vegetables in their own yard. However, this city had 5 months of winter every year. As long as there was a heavy snowfall, fruits, vegetables, and meat would be several times more expensive than usual. Ordinary people simply couldn't afford it. Therefore, Huamin decided to take these dishes home. He would keep a portion for himself and send the rest to the old lady. Unexpectedly, not only was Chin Chu not angry, he actually said, "Of course we have to pack it up. I hate wasting food the most." Huamin was slightly stunned. Then Chin Chu got up and went to the waiter to get the takeout box. Then the two of them quickly packed up the leftovers. However, Chin Chu didn't hand it to Huamin. He said, "It's not convenient for you to carry so much. I'll send it to the guard at the gate. You can take it when you leave school." After that, Chin Chu left. Huamin was touched once again because she knew that Chin Chu was afraid that she would bring so many takeout boxes back to class. She would be gossiped about by other students. The first class in the afternoon was the class teacher's class. However, the class teacher wasn't in a hurry to start the class. Instead, she announced something. "This weekend we will be going on an outing to Jade Green Mountain. Everyone must bring tents and jackets because the temperature in the mountains will be low at night. The school will prepare food for you." Oh, hurry. Many of the students became excited when they heard about the outing. However, Ms. Yao continued, "This event is sponsored by Lu Xing's father. Everyone, please give her a round of applause." The students were a little surprised. Although they didn't know the purpose, they were still very happy that Lu Xing had taken so much money to sponsor an outing for everyone. Thus, the class thundered with applause. Huamin was a little conflicted because she knew that Lu Xing hated her and didn't like her. Sure enough, at this moment Lu Xing stood up and looked around. Finally, her gaze fell on Huamin. She said, "I only have one request. Huamin, can't go." After she said this, the whole class was in an uproar. Chapter 47:20. After Lu Xing said this, everyone was shocked. Although they knew that she usually targeted Huamin, they didn't expect her to be so brazen this time. Many students hated Lu Xing and felt wronged for Huamin. However, they only thought this in their hearts and didn't dare to say it out loud. After all, Lu Xing's family was the sponsor this time. "Xing, your attitude is wrong. You have to treat everyone equally. You can't target anyone," Ms. Yao said. "Ms. Yao, I'm not targeting anyone. I think that Huamin is the top student in our class. He has to study at home on the weekends. Why would she waste 2 days to go on an outing with us? I'm doing this for her own good. Huamin, what do you think?" After speaking, Lu Xing turned around and gave Huamin a harmless smile. Of course, Huamin was well aware of her own limitations. "Yes, Ms. Yao, I won't be going. I still have to study at home. After all, I got second place in the last monthly exam. I have to work hard." Huamin really said this gently. She wasn't jealous or mocking Lu Xing, nor did she say anything unpleasant. Although it was a little uncomfortable to be rejected in front of others, Huamin was very good at adjusting her mood. Ms. Yao looked at Huamin for a while and felt a little heartache. However, she also knew the temper of rich girls. This time it was a private sponsorship. In other words, the other classes couldn't go. Only Class 1 had a spot. The school also approved. They felt that the students of Class 1 were under a lot of pressure and wanted to go out and relax. "Ms. Yao, I won't be going either." This sentence was said by Chin Chu. He didn't pay attention to what everyone was saying. He had been absent-mindedly playing games on his phone. In fact, Chin Chu was really a weirdo. There were so many games, but he liked the old Tetris. This game was from many years ago and had long disappeared from the market. Perhaps Chin Chu had a nostalgia complex, so he always played this game. It wasn't until Huamin said that she wasn't going that Chin Chu put down the game and went straight to the point. However, as soon as Huamin announced that he wouldn't go, Chin Chu said that he wouldn't go either. Such an obvious action shocked the whole class once again. Even Teacher Yao didn't expect that this kid, who usually cherished his words like gold, would get involved in this situation. Without waiting for Mr. Yao to speak, Lu Xing lost her composure. "Chin Chu, the scenery in Yutsui Mountain is very beautiful. My dad even spent money to hire bodyguards for us, so there won't be any danger. There are springs, streams, and many autumn fruits to pick. It's really very beautiful. Let's go together. I've already prepared your equipment for you. Columbia's assault jacket and a Pathfinder's tent." Lu Xing was also anxious. She didn't care that so many classmates were watching and confessed to Chin Chu. She had prepared so many things for him for no reason at all. It was obvious what was going on. Moreover, the classmates all knew that although Lu Xing was rich, she was never very generous to her classmates. This trip was probably for Chin Chu. Lu Xing's father's company was medium-sized and was one of GK's many clients. He strongly supported his daughter's love for Qin Chu. After all, if she married into a financial group like the Qin family, the benefits would be immeasurable. Therefore, this father really satisfied his daughter's every request. However, she didn't expect Qin Chu to not give her face and directly reject her. Moreover, it was in front of the whole class and the teacher. If Qin Chu didn't go, then Lu Xing's money would be wasted. Chapter 47:21. Although I got first place in the last monthly exam, it was really a fluke. In the future I might be second place forever. So, in order not to embarrass myself, I have to study at home. Qin Chu's explanation wasn't for Lu Xing but for Ms. Yao. Then, as long as you've thought it through. Ms. Yao wouldn't force them. It was all up to the kids. Qin Chu. This time I'm here because... Before Lu Xing could finish her sentence, Qin Chu interrupted her. Qin Chu continued to play his game with his head lowered. What was scarier than indifference was disregard. Huamin didn't feel good. She knew that Qin Chu didn't go because of her. Seeing that everyone had made up their minds, Ms. Yao didn't mention this matter and continued with the class. After the bell rang for the end of class, Teacher Yao left. Lu Xing didn't care about her image and ran to Qin Chu again. Qin Chu, excuse me, I'm going to the washroom. Lu Xing. Qin Chu stood up and looked at Huamin behind him. Do you want to go together? Huamin was dumbfounded. I can't go to the men's washroom, right? Huamin asked a stupid question. The surrounding students burst into laughter. Qin Chu's face darkened. You can go to the women's washroom next door. Oh, that's fine. I'll go then. Huamin stood up and ran out with Qin Chu. Qin Chu was actually afraid that Lu Xing wouldn't find trouble with him and would make things difficult for Huamin. After all, she was just a teenage girl and didn't know how to fight. Back then, Huamin wasn't so sharp-tongued. After all, no one had any experience with love. He wasn't like Xu Lingling, who was born with divine help and could talk back to Gao Ran. Well, what's going on with them? Are they really together? A classmate said. It should be. I saw them eating on the second floor of the cafeteria yesterday. Qin Chu doesn't have high standards. I thought his girlfriend would be a school belle. It's not a loss. Huamin is a top student. Shut up, you guys are so annoying. Do you still want to go for the weekend outing? The more Lu Xing listened, the more annoyed she became. She shouted directly. Everyone was so scared that they fell silent. Then she returned to her seat, covered her head with her school uniform, leaned over the table and sobbed softly. It was such a terrible day for her. She felt that everything she had done for her father was going to go down the drain. Qin Chu didn't appreciate it at all. He refused her without giving her any face. She had wanted to sleep in a tent during the outing. When everyone was asleep, she could take the opportunity to get close to Qin Chu. Or he could pretend to be injured and let Qin Chu carry him on his back. Now it seemed that all his plans had gone down the drain. She seemed to understand why Qin Chu didn't want to go. Lu Xing really hated herself. She would have let Huamin go. If Huamin went, Qin Chu could go too. In the corridor, Huamin followed behind Qin Chu without saying a word. Go back and tell your auntie that we're going for an outing this weekend. Qin Chu ordered domineeringly. But I'm not going. Huamin froze. I'll take you. Just the two of us? You can ask Xu Lingling and Gao Ran too, Qin Chu said. Then before Huamin could say anything he added, if you don't think it's safe you can bring more people. Your brother is fine too. No, that's not what I meant. Huamin saw that Qin Chu had misunderstood, so he explained. Then it's settled. Huamin was speechless. She hadn't agreed yet, so what did he mean by it was settled? This guy was too subjective. Qin Chu, Huamin was thinking of a way to refuse without making him angry. This is the men's washroom. Please behave yourself. After speaking, Qin Chu turned around and went inside. Huamin immediately stopped in his tracks. Looking embarrassed, he quickly ran back to the women's washroom. He was so focused on talking that he forgot about this. It was so awkward. He was so embarrassed that he almost died. Chapter 47:22. When Huamin came out of the female washroom, Qin Chu was already waiting at the door. However, he was leaning against the wall of the corridor. People were coming and going. If she didn't pay attention, she wouldn't be able to see him. Huamin was about to look for him when someone suddenly grabbed the collar of her school uniform. Then two girls that she didn't know at all came in. They were also wearing school uniforms. Huamin, right? The one who grabbed her collar asked arrogantly. Yes. She was still calm. You bitch. How dare you seduce our school hunk? I don't know your school hunk. Stop pretending. Didn't the school hunk invite you to join his club that day? The girl's face was filled with envy and jealousy. Qihong. Huamin suddenly thought of that name. Yes, please stay away from our class Qihong in the future. If you want to flirt, do it in your own class. Don't torment our class. The girl's words were very unpleasant. She kept swearing. It was obvious that she didn't come with good intentions. Of course, Huamin was innocent. She was also very angry that someone grabbed her collar like this. He flung the girl away and she fell to the ground. It was obvious how much strength she had used. This person has nothing to do with me. Please investigate clearly before you ask me. Also, this isn't the way to question people. Since you're so rude then, I don't need to be polite to you either. Seeing that Huamin was so fierce, the other girl rushed up. She was about to slap Huamin's face. Huamin was about to reach out to stop her hand. However, she didn't expect a big hand to grab the girl's collar from behind. Then he threw her over his shoulder, causing the girl to cry out in pain. A boy hitting a girl. How shameless are you? What kind of ability is that? The girl pointed at Qin Chu and scolded. Qin Chu didn't even raise his eyebrows. Fight. You're worrying too much. This is just how I deal with trash. I don't care if you're a man, a woman, or a transvestite. You better stay away from Huamin. Otherwise, I guarantee that not only will you not be able to stay in this school, no one in C City will want you. After saying that, Qin Chu tugged on Huamin's sleeve and walked towards the classroom. After a dozen or so steps, he finally asked, Are you stupid? Why didn't you fight back? I did. Didn't you see that I pushed that person down? Huamin pursed his lips and smiled. I didn't see anything. I only know that someone grabbed you by the collar and questioned you for a long time. How could it take half a day? Just a few sentences, okay? Don't be treated like that next time. You have to make the first move, Qin Chu ordered. I don't think that's a good idea. My mom doesn't want me to fight. You know that girls these days are very precious. If I hurt her, I'll have to pay for her treatment. It'll cost a lot of money. So this isn't a fight. This is clearly a war of money. Huamin explained patiently, thinking that Qin Chu would understand. However, Qin Chu's face was still dark as he continued. From now on, you'll be in charge of hitting her. I'll pay for it. Just don't kill her. Huamin was speechless. At this moment the subtext was, how can there be a boyfriend like you? So violent, so arrogant. You even instigated your girlfriend to fight. Are you trying to screw your girlfriend over? Did you hear that? I heard it. Huamin nodded perfunctorily. He didn't want to dwell on this matter with him. How could Qin Chu not see through his thoughts? Therefore he added, if you dare to lose or suffer a loss in the future, don't eat lunch. I'll make sure the aunties in the cafeteria don't give you any food. Chapter 47-23. Wow, so vicious. Huamin looked at him in surprise. Was he serious? However, Qin Chu showed his true colors again. He said, I'll take you out to eat every day. You'll become a pig if you eat fish and meat every day. Huamin thought, Qin Chu, you're so childish. Huamin was flustered and exasperated. She thought that she didn't lose out just now and had even returned the favor. She didn't know why this guy was so angry at her. It was as if his brain had short-circuited. Huamin didn't know that Qin Chu couldn't bear to see her get bullied, even verbally. That was why he was so ruthless just now. He picked her up like a chick and threw her for a long time. That unlucky girl was lucky not to have broken bones, right? When the two girls who were taken advantage of returned to class, they cried and asked the boys in their class to stand up for them. However, when everyone heard that the opponent was Qin Chu, they all hid far away. Are you guys still fucking men? We went to find that little bitch for our class. Now that we've been beaten up by a boy, you're just going to stand by and watch? You're all good for nothings. Do you still have a conscience? The girls scolded. Zhou Yujia, are you an idiot? Who is he? Is he an ordinary person? That's Qin Chu. Do you know Qin Chu? He's the only son of a big conglomerate. He can do whatever he wants in this city. Even the principal has to be polite to him. He only needs to move his finger and you won't be able to survive in this city. You're doomed. You don't know how to repent and still want to cause trouble. If you want to die, go ahead. Don't drag everyone down with you. After hearing what the boy said, the girl named Zhou Yujie was a little flustered. Qin Chu? He's Qin Chu? All the girls in the school seemed to know Qin Chu's name. There were even many girls from other schools who came to see him. Firstly, he was handsome. Secondly, he was too rich. Thirdly, he was cold and aloof. In short, this person was very charismatic. Zhou Yujie didn't know Qin Chu. She only thought that he was a handsome boy. Who would have thought that it was actually Qin Chu? Then what do you think? Can't you grow a brain? After being scolded by the boys, she became much more listless and did not dare to mention the matter of seeking revenge. On the other side, after the two of them returned one after the other, no one seemed to find it strange anymore. After all, Qin Chu had been so obvious about protecting Huamin just now. If she said not to go, he wouldn't go. Everyone seemed to vaguely know what was going on. During the English class in the afternoon, the teacher came in with a lot of papers. Suningru. Here we are. Distribute the papers to everyone. Hurry up and do it. This set of questions is new from the Ministry of Education. It might be included in the college entrance examination. Yes, teacher. She was a quiet girl with a pair of silver-rimmed glasses. She was the English class representative who was very good at English. After receiving the test papers, he distributed them to everyone one by one. When she arrived in front of Qin Chu, her face was slightly red. Qin Chu, good luck. Qin Chu raised his head and looked at her. Then he actually nodded. She was extremely happy. Then when she distributed the papers to Huamin, she was even more excited. She was the kind of person who admired straight-A students, so she admired these two very much. Huamin, I think today's questions are so difficult. We only had an hour to finish a few papers. Huamin smiled. It's okay. Just do as much as you can. Anyway, I'll deal with it when it comes. You have a good mentality. If I had your mentality, I would probably be able to do better. I'm just too nervous. She snickered. Don't be nervous. You're great. Believe in yourself. After Huamin's encouragement, the little girl became even more motivated. She hurriedly finished distributing the papers, returned to her seat and began to write by herself. 25 minutes later, Huamin stood up to hand in his paper. Suddenly, he saw Qin Chu stand up at the same time. His eyelids twitched. Chapter 47-24. Wow, are you serious? It's crazy. It's only been 25 minutes and he's done. I still have a lot to do. A straight-A student is indeed a straight-A student. Awesome. These two inhumane guys only know how to torture us, Zhu Lingling said. The teacher wasn't surprised to see the two of them stand up. After all, Huamin usually handed in his papers very quickly. Qin Chu was about the same as her. The two of them walked to the podium one after another. Qin Chu didn't move, indicating that he wanted Huamin to hand in his papers first. Actually, no one liked to put their papers on the podium. The teacher would look at them. They were all afraid of embarrassment and wanted to stuff their papers down. Qin Chu didn't want to take advantage of this, so he stood there and waited for Huamin. After Huamin put his papers down, he put his own papers on the podium. Sure enough, the teacher saw Qin Chu's paper and looked at it seriously. Qin Chu didn't wait in the classroom and turned to leave. Huamin didn't want to go out, but he heard Qin Chu say in a low voice, "Let's go out and get some fresh air." Huamin thought about it and agreed. It was indeed tiring to finish the papers. The two of them walked out. I'm so jealous of the straight-A student. I can torture you to death in minutes. She can even squeeze out time to talk about love when she's doing questions. I swear I'm not good at studying in this life, but I'll make sure my son studies well. Zhu Lingling swore to herself before she lowered her head and continued to write diligently. She would go crazy every time she took an exam. She was clearly a special student. Wasn't this making things difficult for her? She relied on her talent, not her studies. Actually, Zhu Lingling's family had always wanted her to enter the capital city film academy. It was one of the top film and television schools in the country. With her looks, she could become an actress. She couldn't be said to be famous, but she could still earn a lot as a C-list actress. On the other hand, Zhu Lingling was more open-minded. She felt that the entertainment industry was too messy, so it was better to be a simple stewardess. At least the working environment was monotonous and there were more holidays so he could fly around the country for fun. For someone like her who loved to travel, this was simply a great thing. When Qin and Huamin walked out, the other classes were also having their exams. There were also some schools with good qualifications who handed in their papers one after another. Qin also seemed to have bumped into his junior high school classmates. Hi. Qin. The girl had short hair that reached her ears and looked very sweet. Even though she was wearing a school uniform, it couldn't hide her beauty. Huamin didn't know this girl. He just turned his head to look at Qin. He just stopped but didn't show any special expression. What did your class test? English, Qin said. Our class is Chinese. This time the questions set by the Ministry of Education are crazy. Alright, do you need me to tell you the key questions? The topic of the essay is, no, it won't be a surprise if I tell you. Thank you, Chenxi. After speaking, Qin and Huamin continued to walk forward. The girl's eyes dimmed slightly. However, it returned to normal in a few seconds. Qin's personality started in junior high school. No, she heard that it started in elementary school. He was very cold. However, recently she heard that he had a good impression of the straight-A student in her class. The two of them appeared together more often. Just now she saw Qin walking with her. It seemed that the rumors were most likely true. Chenxi was really interested in this Huamin. After all, the person that Qin liked must be special. Qin walked with Huamin all the way to the school supermarket. Wait for me. After speaking, Qin went in. In less than a minute he came out with 2 bottles of drinks in his hands. He handed the peach juice to Qin and held a bottle of Coke for himself. Drinking carbonated drinks, aren't you afraid of getting fat? Huamin teased. Chapter 47-25. Qin silently glanced at Huamin. The sugar content of your peach isn't much worse than mine. Huamin was speechless. Qin smiled proudly when he saw that he had succeeded. Then he casually continued to stroll with Huamin. Did you see the reading questions at the back of today's paper? They were really difficult. I've never seen a few words before. I relied on my reading comprehension to figure them out. Huamin wanted to discuss the paper with Qin. Unexpectedly, this guy didn't say a word. Huamin silently lowered his head and drank the peach. Suddenly, Qin asked, "What kind of renovation style do you like?" Renovation? Huamin felt that this topic was still too far away for him. After all, he was only in his teens. He didn't even have the ability to earn money, let alone a new house. Therefore, when Qin suddenly asked, Huamin was a little confused. What expectations do you have for your home in the future? You can fantasize about it. Qin repeated again. Huamin thought that this guy probably liked the design of the research lab. Then she would chat with him. Therefore, she put the juice in her hand aside. She rested her chin on her hands and looked up at the green field of the school. I'm a Disney fan, so I want my home to be warm and romantic at the same time. It'd be best if the house is like a castle, the kind that's retro and has a lot of flavor. Also, I want to have a garden in front and behind the house. I want to plant a lot of flowers and plants. Then when I'm free at night, I can go to the top of the mountain and set off fireworks. Am I dreaming too much? After saying that, Huamin laughed at herself. In this city, there was no one who could buy a house like Huamin's. Even if there was, the cost would be astronomical. An ordinary person would never be able to earn that much money in their lifetime. So after she said that, she even laughed. She knew that she was dreaming, so she didn't plan to make it come true. On the other hand, Qin listened attentively and said, "That's a good idea. What about you? What kind of house do you want?" Huamin asked him. Qin got up with a lot on his mind. He took a sip of Coke and said, "Same as you. Well, I didn't expect a big guy like you to be so girly." Huamin was a little surprised. "I'm a man who listens to my wife," Qin said. For some reason, Huamin's face instantly turned red. She didn't forget to tease him. "You make it sound like you have a wife." Qin smiled slightly. "Sooner or later. Then when you get married in the future, don't forget to invite me to your wedding." I really want to see what a wedding in high society is like. But I don't have the money to give you a gift. At most, I'll spend 100 or 200 yuan and freeload off of you for a meal that costs tens of thousands. Huamin was definitely joking. When she was young, she spoke and did things based on her mood. Because she was young, she could be willful and didn't have to be so restrained. She could do whatever she wanted. Therefore, at that time, Huamin wasn't as calm and reserved in front of Qin Chu. Qin Chu looked at her with a complicated expression. Don't worry, when I get married, I'll definitely invite you. You have to be there. Actually, Qin Chu was thinking, if you don't come, who's going to be my bride? However, he wouldn't say such explicit words to her directly. After Huamin heard this, although she felt that it was a little strange, there was nothing wrong with it. So she didn't think too much about it. A long time later, Huamin realized that her intelligence was only targeted at others. In front of Qin Chu, she was her true self. Only Qin Chu could remove her heavy shell. Oh, class is over. Let's go back. Huamin heard the bell and quickly stood up. Do you want another bottle of peaches? You seem to like it. Qin Chu looked at her gently. Chapter 47-26. Huamin wasn't used to being looked at so gently by Qin Chu. She lowered her head shyly. No, I'll go to the bathroom if I drink too much. Qin Chu couldn't help but want to laugh, but he didn't want the little girl to feel embarrassed, so he held it in. Hey, let's go back to class. The two walked back to class side by side, attracting a lot of attention along the way. After all, in a place like school, due to the country's education system, prohibited puberty was forbidden. Therefore, even on campus, boys and girls who secretly liked each other and confirmed their relationship didn't dare to be so blatant. Therefore, along the way they heard a lot of people secretly talking. Wow, are they the two straight-A students in class 1? I should say that they're the first and second in the entire grade. They're so awesome. Huamin looks so ordinary, but Qin Chu is very handsome. Are they dating? When we have time, let's go to class 1 and ask around. The two of them were naturally a little embarrassed when they heard this, but they didn't say anything. When Huamin returned to class, she saw Lu Xing's murderous gaze. Then she silently ignored it and slept on her stomach. Actually, most of the time Huamin wasn't really asleep. She was listening to the teacher with her eyes closed. All the scenes that the teacher had told her flashed through her mind. There really wasn't anyone who did nothing but sleep every day and still got first place. Also, Huamin handed in her homework on time, but she didn't like tutoring or revising. Everyone had a different way of learning. She had only invented a more suitable way of learning. After school, Qin Chu seemed to have something to do. After sending Huamin a WeChat message, he left. Huamin saw GK's car pick him up, so he went out to get on the bus. Huamin. A very familiar voice came from behind him. Huamin turned around and silently looked at Lu Xing behind him. Beside her was a black Mercedes-Benz business car. It seemed to be the driver her father sent to pick her up from school. What's the matter? Huamin asked her lightly. Lu Xing walked over step by step with a complicated expression on her face. It's a weekend outing. I agree to let you come, but I have one condition, she said. Persuade Qin Chu to go as well? Huamin didn't even need to think about it. He knew what she was up to. Since she had already made things clear, Lu Xing no longer hesitated. Yes, that's what I'm thinking. After all, my family is paying for this trip. My dad prepared the best equipment and food for everyone. That's 2,000 yuan per person. Since you're enjoying the benefits that my family brings, you naturally have to do something. Sorry, I'm not interested. Huamin rejected him without even thinking about it. Even if Lu Xing's family wanted to take them to Hawaii, Huamin wouldn't go. After all, she was never the kind of person who would take advantage of others. Don't be ungrateful. Lu Xing was a little angry. You're worrying too much. I just don't like activities like wilderness survival. I prefer to stay at home comfortably. So you're saying that you won't help me? I can't help you. Qin Chu is a loner. If you want him to come, you can talk to him. It's useless to talk to me. After speaking, Huamin smiled slightly and turned to get on a bus that just happened to arrive. After she got on the bus, Lu Xing was still standing there, gritting her teeth in anger. Seriously, why would Qin Chu like a girl like her? He really has no taste. Lu Xing hated Huamin. She had hated her since the first semester of her first year of high school. There was no solution to it. After Huamin got on the bus, she didn't forget to look at everyone in the bus vigilantly. She was really afraid that Hua Xiqian would suddenly appear. Fortunately, he didn't. However, when she came home from school, she saw a lot of luxury cars parked in front of her yard. There were as many as 3 of them. Chapter 47:27. Huimin had a bad feeling about this, so she rushed in with her backpack. Sure enough, she saw Jiang Hong, Hua Jinghai's official wife, talking to her mother in a crimson cheongsam. Hua Xiqian and a few bodyguards were standing beside her. It was a grand scene. Jixin was so scared that he hid in his room and didn't dare to come out. It was obvious that they didn't come with good intentions. Little sister me on your back? Hua Xiqian was always smiling, especially when he saw Huimin. What are you doing here? Huimin didn't bother to be polite. She swung her backpack and glared at Jiang Hong and Hua Xiqian with hostility. So this is Mian. You've grown so tall. Jiang Hong smiled. However, Yang Meirong's face was still serious. Mrs. Hua, please go back. I'm just an ordinary housewife now. I'm not talented, scheming, or useful. You've come to the wrong person, little sister Meng. I came to you to prove that you're valuable. Even if you don't think for yourself, you have to think for your child. Do you know what kind of education Mian will receive if she goes back? After high school, she'll go abroad to further her studies. With her brain and intelligence, it'll be easy for her to get into a world-class university. However, studying abroad is expensive. I'm not looking down on you, but you really can't afford it. It's at least 1,000,000 yuan for 4 years. After graduation, she can come back to the Hua Corporation to work. Or she can stay abroad. I won't interfere, it's her own freedom. She'll have a better future, right? Jiang Hong said to Yang Meirong. He could tell that Yang Meirong wasn't completely unmoved. Mian was indeed a good seedling. If she was nurtured, she wouldn't go wrong. Their family definitely didn't even dare to think about studying abroad. Even if the school waived the fees, they still had to rent a house and eat for the next few years. In other countries, especially in country M, it was quite a large sum of money. Mrs. Hua, thank you for your kindness, but I'm born poor. I don't want to go abroad. Let me fend for myself. I'll accept whatever my mother teaches me. You, on the other hand, time is precious. Don't waste your time here. Take your men and leave. I need to do my homework. Jiang Hong faintly glanced at Huimin. You may still be too young to understand the importance of material things. That's where you're wrong. It's precisely because I know the importance of material goods that I went to second high. But, if these materials come with conditions, we won't accept them because we're not old cows. We don't want to be led by the nose. Hearing what Huimin said to Jiang Hong, Hua Xiqian almost burst out laughing. Originally, he never liked to get involved in Jiang Hong's matters. From the bottom of his heart, he was disgusted by this old woman. However, Jiang Hong was going to Huimin's house today, so he pretended to be a good boy just to see Huimin. Reality proved that it was the right choice to come. Huimin was too charming when he insulted others. Hua Xiqian liked him very much. However, he still didn't show it. You child, you really don't know what's good for you. You're the second person today to say that I don't know what's good for me. Instead of scheming and using us, why don't you think of a way to deal with Xinjiani and her daughters? You? Jiang Hong choked on her words and was at a loss for words. Chapter 47:28. She was born into a prestigious family and had never been wronged in her life after marrying into the Hua family. However, today she was insulted by the little girl. She was very angry. Xiqian, let's go. Jiang Hong was very angry and stood up. Sister Mian, I bought the gift. Don't refuse it. Thank you for treating me to dinner the other day. After Hua Xiqian said this, Huimin noticed a few intricate bags under the table. He didn't know what was inside. However, Hua Xiqian said it very softly. Other than Huimin, no one else heard it. Huimin didn't move at all. Perhaps only the female leads in idol dramas would say, "Hey, don't go. Take your things. We don't want them." However, Huimin didn't. The Hua family had never given him any benefits over the years. Hua Jinghai, as a father, had never fulfilled his obligations. Therefore, she felt that it was natural to accept gifts. After all, it was the Hua family's money. Her mother had suffered a lot back then. This little bit of money was nothing. After those people left, Yang Meirong sighed slightly. Mom, what did that old witch say to you? Yang Meirong looked up with a heavy heart. She said that she wants me to send you back to the Hua family. She'll raise you and provide you with the best education. You'll live like a princess and never have to worry about food or clothing. Don't listen to her bullshit. That old witch wants to use me. She's not that kind. She thinks that I have good grades and can be used as a shield. When I graduate and go back to work at the Hua family, I'll still be under her control. You probably can't control Xinjiani anymore. She doesn't have any children of her own, and Hua Xiqian is an adopted son. Xinjiani gave birth to 2 children, a boy and a girl, and the heartless man likes them. So she's looking for reinforcements for herself. Mom knows everything you said. Mom, are you wavering? Huamin felt that his mother was a little off today. Actually, there's nothing wrong with this. You're a good seedling. Staying here will only hinder you. Mion. When Yang Meirong said this, her eyes were already filled with tears. Mom, what are you talking about? Our family hasn't been doing well these past few years, but you haven't mistreated me. After Jixin was born, Uncle Jing went out to work. We've been trying our best to maintain this family of 4. We don't have what the Hua family has, but the peace and tranquility we have is something the Hua family doesn't have. Money can't buy that. Compared to an empty house with billions of dollars, I still prefer this poor but warm family. Huamin's words made Yang Mirong cry. She didn't speak, but Jixin suddenly ran out. Mom, please, don't send my sister away. I really love her. Huamin felt bad and patted Jixin's head. Mom, I've grown up and earned money. I can take care of you, Dad, and my sister. I'm a man and I want to take care of this family. But please don't let my sister go. She's a very important member of our family and we can't live without her. Jixin's words made Huamin almost cry. She rubbed her eyes. All right, stop being sentimental. Come, open it and see what the Hua family bought for us. Sis, we can't accept this. We can't be so spineless, Jixin said. Wrong. This is an apology the Hua family owes Mom. They haven't given you anything good all these years. This is nothing. With that, Huamin squatted down, pulled out the bag and opened the packaging with Jixin. She was surprised. She thought it would be exquisite snacks or something like that. After all, the Hua family was famous for being stingy. She didn't expect it to be some tableware. It was porcelain and looked very expensive. There was also a stainless steel wok. It was super practical. Huamin had seen it in the supermarket. It was very expensive, about 1,000 yuan each. The one she had was only 98 yuan, so it couldn't compare. Oh my god, what is this? Jixin opened a box and screamed. Chapter 47:29. Huamin looked in Jixin's direction and was slightly surprised. There were 3 sets of thermal underwear. One of them was dark purple in color. Huamin looked at the size and saw that it was his mother's. There was also a man's set, navy blue in Jixin's size. The bottom one was light yellow in Huamin's size. Autumn in the north was very short. Sometimes it would start snowing in October. People who lived in buildings had collective heating. Huamin's bungalow had their own stove. They would buy some cheap coal, but if the coal wasn't burned well, it was easy to get carbon monoxide poisoning. Everyone knew that coal wasn't good, but they had no choice but to buy the cheapest. However, even if they burned coal, the eastern suburbs would still be extremely cold in winter. Huamin sometimes had to cover himself with 2 cups and hug a hot water bag to sleep. The thermal underwear was too expensive. If they bought 3 at once, it would cost 3,000 to 4,000 yuan. This was a huge sum of money for this family. Now that there were 3 sets of thermal underwear, Huamin's mood was really complicated. It was obvious that these weren't from Jiang Hong. That woman of hers wouldn't be so considerate. It seemed that Hua Xiqian really bought them. Wow. We're going to be happy this winter. Sis, we have thermal underwear and it's from a famous brand. Jixin held the underwear and couldn't put it down. Huamin's mood was a little complicated. He didn't say anything and continued to unwrap the packaging. There were also 4 cans of milk powder. However, it was the kind that teenagers drank. It contained calcium, iron, zinc, and selenium. It was obviously for students' brains. These health supplements cost more than 300 yuan per can. 4 cans would cost more than 1,000 yuan. They really couldn't afford it, but Hua Xiqian bought it. Milk powder. Damn, this brand is very famous. Many of our classmates drink it. Jixin's voice was even more excited. It seems that Jiang Hong spent a lot of money to win us over, Yang Mirong said coldly. No, Mom, Jiang Hong didn't buy these. She doesn't have the time to buy so many things for us. Oh? It's not her, it's a gift from Hua Xiqian. He's a very meticulous person. Perhaps he's trying to win us over, so he gave us some small favors. Then this child's brain is really not simple. She really needs to think before buying these things. It's not that just because she has money she needs to pick them one by one. In that instant Huamin also felt that Huasiqian was not a simple person. Jixin continued to open the box and screamed again. Sis, look, 2 Parker pens. One for you and one for me, even the fountain pens were branded. Jixin couldn't stay calm anymore. I gave it all to you. I don't want it. Are you stupid? It's very expensive. Jixin reminded his sister. It doesn't matter what I use. I'm giving it to you. Huamin had never liked these brands. After all, a person wearing a short-sleeved shirt that cost less than 1,000 yuan would feel too out of place if he used a fountain pen that cost more than 1,000 yuan. She really didn't want to humiliate herself. At the end Huamin saw a pair of shoe boxes. It was from Nike. She opened it and saw that it was white, a women's fall-winter style. She could wear it immediately. It was a very simple white shoe with a green Nike logo. This shoe was the hottest item this year and many people in second high were wearing it. It was said that it cost 1,390 yuan a pair. It was said that it was very durable, comfortable, breathable and didn't rub your feet. Huamin really liked sports shoes. The one on her feet was a very small brand that was on sale and it only cost 69 yuan a pair. She had to admit that she liked the white shoes from the first time she saw them. However, she felt that it would be strange if she wore them. After all, they were given by Huasiqian. No wonder you gave me the fountain pen. So you have a big trick up your sleeve. Jixin thought that Huamin knew in advance. These shoes are really nice. Mian, you don't have many shoes, wear these, her mother encouraged. You're tuning in to the Romantic Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.